10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing, and you drag racing fans out there, what's up? It is a Tuesday night, and I am live here from the studio in North Dakota here for the Competition Plus Power Hour. But I'm not alone. I've got this weird guy that likes to yak it up with me every week here on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and that is the Monday Morning Racer. Lee, before we get started, please switch us before the fans get mad out there that we are in the wrong spot. There we go. So now, Lee, welcome to the Competition Plus Power Hour.
Sam, as usual now on Tuesday nights, always it's good to be on the Competition Plus Power Hour with you, yak it up on drag racing, whatever else is going on in the world of drag racing. Yes, folks, we are going to have Jeff Arend on later, give us some insider information. We've got two great guests lined up tonight. Eddie Krawiec, he is on, and then Larry Dixon is on. You know, Sam, it is good to have repeat guests because they're willing to come back on after the train wreck that you and I are on Competition Plus Power Hour.
I don't think that it's like they're more than willing to come back. I think at this point they're like, man, we got to help these guys out.
You got to help these guys out.
So we definitely have to help them out so they come back on and, you know, they yak it up with us. They talk about some different topics is what we try to do for you guys. But the most important things we need you guys to do, take care of this a little earlier tonight, okay? First things first, please like, comment, and share this. It helps us out. It helps get the word of drag racing and what Competition Plus is trying to build, what Lee and I are trying to build on our own platforms. Monday Morning Racer, go and check him out, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Slammin Sam, I am on Facebook and Twitter under that name, but everything else is under Outlaw Performance ENT, and of course Bobby Bennett and the Competition Plus staff. And for you guys out there, there's an email that you guys can send emails to for Jeff Arend. If you got any questions, email us. That is powerhourcp@gmail.com. Again, powerhourcp@gmail.com. You can send us any questions you may have. We do see those every week, so we'll answer you guys' questions because sometimes we don't see the comments. So, guys, girls, do that. Listen to the podcast back. If you missed some stuff, you want to rewind, see what we've been yakking it up about, go back and do that. But, again, like, share, comment, send emails, and yak it up with us. Right, Lee?
Sam, yes, that's right. And because we had a Power Hour meeting, it was a powerful meeting. It has to be when it's on the Power Hour. To anyone that is the first person to email a legitimate question to the powerhourcp@gmail.com. That's right?
Yep, powerhourcp@gmail.com.
The first person to email a legitimate question, you will get a free Competition Plus Power Hour t-shirt. Because we talked about that.
We're going to
start it now.
Start it now. So the first email I get, I will announce that next week, and we're going to send the shirt 2 sizes too small. Just because Bobby's probably got a lot of, he's probably got a lot of, like, you know, smalls and mediums and stuff like that. So we will send it a couple of sizes too small. So yes, you will get a shirt.
Well, definitely.
Right? I like that.
Hey, let's put that out there. Let's get that going. We need some more Competition Plus swag out there. We want you all to engage with the show a little deeper. Don Moore, he's asking, will any of us be at Norwalk? I know I will be at Norwalk. Sam, what is your status as of now?
I'm not spilling the beans.
You're not spilling the beans. Okay.
I'm going to wait till my agent gets here, and I will talk to my lawyer at that time. No further questions, please.
No comment. No comment. Fine. Well, speaking of comments, Bobby Bennett wanted us to regularly mention the CompetitionPlus.com top article. Ladies and gentlemen, the Competition Plus Facebook page, YouTube page, the Twitter, all of those things, they funnel back to a website, CompetitionPlus.com. And at CompetitionPlus.com, you can find the best drag racing news. And I dare say, the most drag racing news. And it's all on a place where you can believe what you're reading. And Sam, the top article from
Lee.
Bobby this week is go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Top article, which is in the comment thread as the first comment, deals with, well, the NHRA putting free drag racing on a smart TV app, Plex, old races to modern races for people to enjoy.
Okay, I've got another thing. First person to comment who said the first thing on Competition Plus Power Hour about Plex. I will make sure Lee takes a picture with you at Norwalk if you're there. How about that?
You're there. Yeah. that might imply we're buying plane tickets, man. Be careful.
Hey, Lee, I think we already got an email. I legit think we already have our first email.
All right.
I'm checking the phone app.
Check it out. What do you think about NHRA making a move to make drag racing that much more accessible on smart TVs? And apparently you can watch Plex on other platforms too. It's not just smart TVs from what I noticed today looking at it.
What do I think about that? I think finally, thank you. NHRA and the associates that have been working on this and everyone that's been doing it, thank you. It's about time. And that's not in a negative sense, but it is about time. We've been behind the 8 ball, I think, on a lot of different things. So for us to finally get this platform, to be able to access drag racing 24/7 it's good. It's what we need. In the same breath, this drag racing game, that's all over everyone's iPhones and smartphones. That's good. It's what we need. It's moving the needle in the right direction. Again, now finally having a video game that's supposed to come out. We've been behind the 8 ball for years. I mean, bowling's been on TV. Bowling is a, PlayStation game. Pool has a PlayStation game and has been on TV 24/7. It's about time. And to have that is just solidifying that our fans out there that are listening, that are watching, that they're finally saying, you know what? Hey, we need this, we want this, and NHRA and drag racing as a whole is finally listening. So I'm happy about it. I mean, there's going to be no negative. There you go. But he already took a picture with you, so that doesn't count.
You are right. You are right. Mikey has already taken a picture with me. So
I will find something in here from either Mad Bro Motorsports or Outlaw Performance ENT. I probably have something around here. So, Mike, I'll get a hold of you and I'll hook you up with some. So thanks he's paying attention.
He definitely is. Definitely is. Paying attention. Man, the NHRA making this move, I think it is announcing the development of the game, announcing that there is going to be drag racing content on a app outside of NHRA.tv. I think we are just getting the opening of the floodgates. I'm not sure what else is going to be coming down the pipeline, but the valve is opening. I think they realize that they've got to get content out there, that they have got to have more accessible if we're going to have more people coming to the track and experiencing NHRA drag racing in person, which, by the way, is the best way to experience it. I've said it often. I really think NHRA.tv isn't the way to do it because you're kind of circling the wagons in that moment, and only diehards are going to purchase an extra streaming option. And oftentimes, the diehards are going to be at the track. I think the answer are things such as YouTube and YouTube Live and Plex. Put things within an algorithm, and that algorithm can push it forward to people that may not have seen it, but they might like another form of motorsports. Putting it on Plex, putting it on YouTube. There may be someone in Europe who enjoys F1 and the algorithm picks up this individual is interested in motorsports. Maybe they like the Friday night qualifying that was put on during ZMAX. I think that is a better route than the NHRA.TV. If you're going to have NHRA.TV, make it so exceptionally valuable to the fan that they're willing to purchase it. And personally, right now, I don't think it's there. I would rather see them invest, again, in something like Plex, other streaming platforms, and especially YouTube.
I agree with you there. And Stan, someone who comments every week, he brings up a great thing. Put Friday night qualifying on YouTube. I think I think Friday nights with everything that's going on, I think Friday nights, it should be kind of like the door slammer race. I've said this a couple of times. Blast the music. Let's have fun. Let it be that chill atmosphere. You know what I mean? Make it a celebration, because the more that you do that, the more that you let Friday nights, let the racers be themselves and let them go out and have fun, that's going to draw still more people to come, because a lot of people just show up Saturday. A lot of people just show up Sunday. But the more that you can draw people in to say, hey, you know what, we've got this cool, atmosphere, maybe throw, every couple of races, throw a cocktail party or a driver, can mix and mingle, do something, change it up and make it more of a good, cool, calm, collective Friday night atmosphere for everyone involved. And I guarantee you start doing stuff like that, you're going to drive more people to be there. And the more people that are there is always good for the numbers. It's good for NHRA and, where we're at racing. So, hey, more T-shirt sales. I'm just saying.
Right.
Got to do something.
Look, I agree with Stan, his comment, and the NHRA did do that. I think they did an experiment. They put Friday night qualifying at ZMAX 4 White under the lights on YouTube and streamed it live. They had Brian Loans commentating along with Alan Reinhart, a combination you don't get to hear very often, with Brian being Fox and Alan being NHRA announcer, in the tower, and one's doing the tower work, one's doing the TV work. But I mentioned that to Glenn Cromwell at Epping when I spoke to him briefly, and I said, thank you for doing that. I think we need more of that. And he agreed. I expect that we will see later on more qualifying on YouTube. And I'm a proponent. Look at what NASCAR does. I mean, NHRA drag racing has followed the leader for I don't know how long in so many other ways. It's fascinating to me when they don't follow in the right ways, though. And here is something that I think they do need to do. Put the whole race, the whole broadcast on YouTube within the next week, or maybe at the airing of the next event if you want to. Like clockwork, usually 2 to 3 days after the NASCAR race, wherever they've been, you're going to find the truck race, you're going to find the Xfinity race, and you'll find the Cup race itself full on YouTube without commercial interruptions. They even do cool things such as when there are the spots for the commercials, they don't edit them out. They just throw it up there and you get like live satellite feed, or you ride in car, you hear some radio communication. During the actual NASCAR broadcast with Nashville this past weekend, you were able to go to the NASCAR YouTube channel and ride along. I believe it was with Kyle Busch for the entire race in his in-car. There are things like that in the multimedia world the NHRA has got to be looking at. And as I said, I believe we're looking at the floodgates opening. The NHRA currently does have out there in the, we need new people, we need to hire people, another social media content creator, full-time position, be there in Brownsburg at the offices for the NHRA. So they realize what they need to do. I think we are ahead of some positive times for the NHRA and us as NHRA fans. Sam, we are soon nearing to have our Pit Insider on, but I want to address a comment from John Wilburn real quickly. We need to address this.
Yes.
Do you guys have plans to have any non-NHRA guests? I mean, drag racing isn't all about NHRA.
Lee, can I answer this?
Answer it.
Yes.
Yes. John, let me say this. And to everyone that is out here watching, let me say this. Booking is probably the hardest part of a show. And me and Sam are not in charge of the booking. We can assist in the booking, but we also attempt to book our own shows, and we know there that it's the most challenging thing to do. Getting schedules to align, I believe it's easier for planets to do that at times, but it's the most challenging thing to do. Yes, we want to have people beyond NHRA. You know, we had a meeting earlier this week. I even mentioned, hey, what about the guys in Australia? Because it's like early morning for them when we're on at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., and it kind of works out. I'd love to have some Australian drag racers on. I'm open to anybody in the world of drag racing being on, and hopefully that is the case. You know, in the past, though, do remember, you know, we have had Johnny Placino on, PDRA. We've had Melanie Salemi on, PDRA.
Yeah.
We've had Pat Musey on. That's technically even some, No Prep Kings and Street Outlaws with having Pat on. Roy Heel, ADRL there. I mean, we've had beyond, even though it is a very NHRA centric show.
I get it. He's saying that we've been heavy on the NHRA side. Totally understand that. But Lee, here we go again. Catch 22. If you have any ideas of people you want on the show, guess what you guys can do? Send an email. powerhourcp@gmail.com. Send us an email. And guess where that email goes? To my phone. And then I send it to Bobby. And I say, hey, Bobby, look what someone just asked for. And then we talk to Elon Warner, who schedules our stuff. And we can make it happen for you guys. So if you guys want anybody, email. If you have questions, email. But now it's time for the most gifted and jeweled guy that you'll ever see walking around the pit. As we take a commercial break, and up next is the jeweler.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Jeff.
Hey, guys.
Jeff,
the jeweler.
What do you have for us this week from the inside?
All right. We'll start off with a little sad news. Last night we lost Kyle Seipel. I mean, super accomplished sportsman racer. I had to kind of look him up a little bit. I've met him before, but I didn't realize he had won 22 Division 7 championships, 11 national events. Just, a guy, they called him Big Nasty, just loved by everybody, and, lost his battle with cancer. And like we always say, F cancer or cancer sucks. Definitely a guy taken way too young, great family, accomplished racer. Sad to see him go. And not much after that, I heard from a friend of mine that Bob Akins from East West Engineering, or East West Clutches, a lot of us know him, he passed away as well. He had battled with lung cancer for quite a while. Back in the day, there wasn't a lot of different clutches out there. You had like AFT clutches, Krawiec clutches. East West was right up there with them. We actually still use like an East West clutch in the Russo Fuel Funny Car. So another guy that was a big, proponent of the sport, added a lot to it. His technology, great machinist. Sad to see these guys go. And unfortunately, as we all get older, it seems like every day you get on Facebook or social media and someone's passing away. And, nobody likes that. I mean, it's not a good thing. Cancer is an awful disease. And hopefully one day they'll come up with some kind of a cure for that so we can keep these legends around a lot longer. Going into some other stories, I talked to Frank Hawley for a little bit today. He's over to Indy. We're doing a Frank Hawley drag racing school tomorrow and the next day. And I could hear some fuel cars in the background. So he said there was it's almost like a national event. There are all kinds of fuel cars there. I think with Wilkerson, Salinas, there were some alcohol cars there, Pro Mod cars. They're all testing. Mike Salinas, I think, made a couple of good runs. He drove his Pro Mod today. I heard a little bit of it. I think he might have done a little Danny Sullivan and spun it around and went off the end of the track. But, Mike's okay. He was back in the top fuel car making some more runs. Norwalk, we were talking about nighttime racing and stuff. Friday night, 8 o'clock is the Fuel Funny Car top fuel session. So fuel cars at 8 o'clock at night. Bader puts on one of the best shows out there by far. If you get a chance to go to Norwalk, it's one of those races you have to go to see. The guy's fireworks, when it's done, if you've been at Disney World, Disneyland before, his fireworks definitely outdo that. 20 minutes nonstop, the craziest stuff you ever seen before. So Bader always puts on quite a show. It's always a privilege to race at one of his races. And he's got some good car counts. Top fuel, I think 18, funny car 17, Pro Stock 20, Pro Stock motorcycle 21, and Pro Mod, they're at 18 right now, I think. So hopefully the weather stays away and we have some great racing this weekend. It is a great facility, and anybody who goes there is going to have a great time.
Thank you, Jeff.
When you think of the house that Bill Bader Jr. is running right now, everything that he does, we had him on the show earlier, and just all the things that he talks about and how he wants everything just to go right. You experiencing that, you mentioned it, the fireworks and just everything. Is that a race that you look forward to going to just because of how the atmosphere is there?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Bader, he's top notch when you go to his races. Everything from the ice cream that you can buy for next to nothing, to the concessions, to the restrooms, to the show, everything's great. He does this deal. It's called Night Under Fire, which is a match race, and it's done in one night. You start at 7 o'clock, you're done by 10. They got fuel funny cars there, pro stocks, Pro Mods, everything you want to see in this short amount of time. And most of the time when you go to something like that, it's sold out. And he's just one of those guys. I wish they would get someone like Bader or Bandemir. Those are two of probably the biggest promoters in the sport right now as far as NHRA national event tracks go. Those guys really know what's going on. They just make everything so nice for the spectators, whether you got family there, your kids are there. It's something you really want to go see, and they really take care of everybody. And, a lot of people can learn, other track owners can learn from what Bader and Bandemir do.
They definitely can, even though there are great facilities elsewhere, maybe even nicer in some extent facilities. I would say maybe on the commercial side, if you will, no one seems to be beating out what Bader's doing on customer satisfaction. And if you've got a problem, trying to work it out.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they really go in the extra mile. All the national events we go to are good, and all the tracks and facilities are good, but they just seem to go a little bit the extra mile for everything and make it a really enjoyable experience. You can go there with your family and stuff, and sometimes you go to the restrooms and they're not clean. The guys might not complain about it, but your wives or your kids are like, oh my God, I don't want to go in there. The Baders and the Bandemirs, they're the ones that make sure all that stuff is top notch. And, I'm sure it costs money for them to do it, but it's an experience where if you go to it, you're going to go back again to see that race. And that's what we're looking for.
Boom, boom. Sam, you got anything else for Jeff? That would be a no.
Yeah, it sounds like he was in the car the other day. He can't even talk anymore.
Sorry, I had muted myself.
Do you have ice? You have ice too?
I pulled a Lee and got ice in my cup this week.
Take a drink. Everybody, take a drink. That's what happens.
All right.
Oh, yes, everybody. So if you don't know, we do have a new game. If one of us mute ourselves and you can't hear us, everyone
take a drink. of whatever you got.
Shout out to Monster. Anyone from Monster watching, hit us up. Could nice sponsorship. But no, I was just saying, if you guys see Mr. Jeff Arend walking around the pits, if you happen to go to the race, you know what to do. Yell out, "The Jeweler!" And make sure if you do that, you are next to the Coors Light place so you can get him a nice, cool Coors Light. Who knows? Maybe he may give you a piston, something else like that. He always has gifts. So there you go. Oh,
Jeff.
Hey, someone's saying beer pong.
Yeah, whatever.
As long as it's with Coors Light.
I'm always up. No problem.
All right, there you go. Jeff,
he's
thank
Canadian,
you, sir.
Don't forget that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great show. See you later on.
All right. Everybody, that was the Jeweler. Jeff Arend, our pit insider. Can't thank him enough. And to keep on talking about this, yes, with this, with different things going on, we're going to try. I know it's a work something that's in progress that we talked about in the meeting. That, PDRA, maybe have a PDRA insider to bring us some of the juicy news from PDRA and the different associations around. So guys, we are trying to make this show an all around drag racing show. Talk to you guys about, everything that's going on. And speaking, yakking it up, Lee, it's about that time. It's a big week for drag racing.
Big.
PDRA and NHRA, same weekend. How do you pick? How do you choose which one, where to go?
Sam, it's interesting you brought it up that way. We have our notes and we kind of have an idea what we're going to talk about when we look to the show. But it's very interesting you brought it up that way because I find one of the most fascinating stories at the moment is who did pick on where he is racing and is not racing.
Very true. And there's no Prep Kings this weekend. Can't forget about that. Sorry. Yes, that was in my notes, but later.
So if you look at the Pro Mod entry list, which, by the way, by this time now, it's locked. It's set. You cannot enter in to a national event on a Tuesday night or Wednesday. It's locked. Well, guess what? And yes.
I don't know, but I think go ahead.
Yeah, and look, if you're near, I think it's Mocksville, North Carolina, Farmington Dragway. Yes, Southeast Gassers. Check that out. You will thoroughly enjoy it. One of the best drag racing shows there is. But
the person you're talking about has my last name. I'm going to throw that one out there.
He does.
Would you imagine?
Yeah.
Should we just say it?
Ricky Smith is not on the list for NHRA Norwalk.
But he is on the list for the PDRA.
He mentioned in an interview I had with him in my Pro Nitrous video from PDRA Norwalk that he likes nitrous on nitrous and he loves what the PDRA is doing. So he's like, you know what? I'm probably going to run Maryland opposed to Norwalk. Even though he was in Norwalk, you could argue collecting data for that national event. He's going to run PDRA.
That's the thing that's the part right there that gets me. That part right there. Doesn't matter what he chooses to do. Dude, you were already in Norwalk. You had your car, the hauler. You guys were there. You had a pit spot already. You could have stayed there and tested, and you didn't have to leave. You could have went home for a couple of days, flew back in. All your stuff was there. There was no more traveling involved. But to say, I'm going to Maryland, I don't want to say it's worrisome, but could this be something that we should be looking at?
Well, right now, there obviously is some barking amongst the competitors with other power adders. I mean, though, if I'm not mistaken, a turbo is coming back in the NHRA competition. We'll see how they compete. Everyone right now is going Pro Charger, and they're saying Pro Charger has the edge. Balance that out, though, with some comments from like Justin Bond that you can see on, Caruso Family Racing and the episodes they've had. So, yeah, I mean, you got Mikey mentioning Todd Tutterow. Todd Tutterow made a shift. Let's go run PDRA. You got Ricky Smith making a shift to go run PDRA. One, the positive of this, what does it say about the PDRA and the quality of a program they have? And I also think, well, you got these guys on the East Coast. It's just easier to go run the East Coast than go out there to the Midwest or the West Coast and get a race in. What a landscape, though. What a landscape in Pro Mod right now. I am glad I am not a technical individual coming up with parity rules. I do not want that job at all.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rules, especially if you're rocking the shirt. So shout out to the Caruso they do a live Tuesday before we go live, and they've talked about the PDRA rules pretty heavy as Camry is racing PDRA. So, there's been a lot of talk about all these rules, the rule changes. Justin Bond really went on there and I think set a lot of people on fire and set it straight to the way it was of this is why certain cars are running out front. This is why certain rules are the way they are. And it's just the way it is. But going down the list of talking about everything, Lee, I want to talk about Norwalk for a little bit here, and the hometown hero. Troy Coughlin Jr. and the Jegs team is rolling into Norwalk. I would say a little home court advantage, coming back home. What do you think about, that race? I know Troy talked about it a little bit, but they have history in Norwalk, and the Jegs team does fairly well there. Do you think, is that something that plays in their behalf? Is it something that they have to think about a little harder going into that race?
Well, I'll make a few comments, and then we got to get Eddie Krawiec on. He's in the studio, and he's got his background set up. He went and got the helmet and put it on the desk, and he's got the background set up, so he's good to go. But Norwalk, we always say Norwalk, but the actual name, the people who have bought the title rights, if you will, is the competitor, Summit Motorsports Park. And it's the Summit Racing Equipment Nationals. So on the Jegs side of things, on the Coughlin side of things, that's a huge race. Not only is it like hometown, but it's enemy turf because they paid for it, and you win it their race. Yeah, you got to do it. Will he do it? I don't think so.
Ooh, bold statement.
He right now in that elite camp just have not seen the performance yet.
Well, they did get a big win last weekend out of the elite camp.
Yes.
So right now you are betting against the elite camp this weekend is what you're telling me.
I would say that Greg Anderson.
I can see Eddie's face right now. I'm looking at him down there, and he's laughing because he's shaking his head, and he's like, Lee, don't do it. It's not a smart move, Lee.
Look, Greg Anderson wants to get it done. Greg Anderson wants to get it done.
Okay, really quick. Top 3 picks in Pro Stock, since we're talking about it. Who, 1, 2, 3, right now, if you're going to say it, 1, 2, 3. Give you 3 picks, and we'll put a friendly wager on it, I guess.
Okay.
Well, we can't bet in drag racing. I forgot.
We can't bet in drag racing. Yes.
We can't
drag teams help us. Yes. I would say Greg Anderson. Dallas Glenn.
Ooh. And
Mason McGahey.
All right. Okay. I disagree with you, but it's fine.
I know.
It's fine.
I know. We'll look back on this moment, and we will see who was right, though.
All right. I'm telling you right now, if you're wrong, you owe me ice cream, and that's all I'm going to say about Norwalk.
Okay. Well, that's an easy bet because that's only $1. Look, let's get our first guest on tonight, folks. Let's take a break and bring on Eddie Krawiec. Eddie, how you doing tonight?
I'm here hanging out.
Good, man.
All
Good.
right,
Glad
Eddie.
to have you on.
What do you think about what Lee just rambled out of his mouth? I saw you laughing the whole time. So just go.
I agree 100% on Greg Anderson. I think he's the guy to beat. The only way that he's going to lose is beat himself. I think we all do that as good racers. I would put Erica in that 3. You have to. I think Erica is probably one of the best drivers ever. She's very consistent. She's hard on herself, but she is definitely one of the best drivers, and for sure a newcomer, Dallas. I mean, I do agree with Dallas. He's got a good shot, but he doesn't have the experience. I don't know, man. Pro stock is a tough class. I really, it's almost like pro stock motorcycle where once you get past second, like the first round deal, once you're in second round, anyone in the 8 can usually win. It's usually up to yourself to screw it up. I've done it many times. It's a tough deal. That class and category is for sure cutthroat.
Definitely is.
I'm glad
Definitely
you
is.
said. I'm so glad he said one of the best, because if he would have said the best, we would have seen those glasses fly off of Lee's face. His hat would have fell off. He would have lost his beard. You guys can go back and listen to it. Wes Buck one time says, hands down, Erica is the best women driver, and Lee about lost it. You guys can go back and watch that video. So I'm glad you said one of the best, because I thought he was going to end this conversation early tonight.
No. Look, Erica, I think she is the greatest female door slammer driver of all time. There has been so few, but she has set that bar also so high for anyone to come after her. And all I'm saying is let Shirley go on. Let her pass before we put the mantle elsewhere. Erica's going to have it. Just give it some time. Just give it some time.
I get into this argument let's weigh it out. When you look at the competition level that Erica has to race against nowadays versus what Shirley had to race against, and no discrediting Shirley. I mean, she broke down barriers and what she did, but when you look at what Erica has done against the competition, the level of competition, competitors, I mean, she sure is. I mean, she is one of the elite, I guess is the way to put it. So she's, I tell her all the time, I mean, I respect her a lot for what she does and everything she does. I mean, she is on her game 95% of the time. Yes, she may cry. It's like you have that. That's all typical women. We got on gel in our pit. Trust me, there's been tears. But it's their passion behind it, and I respect that. But that's a tough category. As is top fuel and funny car and all of them. Going across the board, man. Like I said, second round in almost every category right now is for sure one to watch from second round on, 100%.
Right. If you look at the final rounds, I think almost every final round we've had this year, and Epping is really fresh in my mind because I was there. It was the last event. Man, no final round was a give me. They were all super close. The competition level across the board is great in NHRA drag racing right now. And man, you're participating in a class that, it shocks me that you all are not a bunch of alcoholics and drug addicts. And, it just shocks me as close as the competition is and as fast as y'all are going. And you're the fastest, by the way. How does it feel to have the title of fastest pro stock motorcycle rider at the moment?
It's pretty cool, king of speed, I guess, whatever you want to say. But to have the opportunity, obviously, to go out there and race and just getting a chance to go down there this year. I mean, truthfully, come it was November, we really didn't even know what we were racing, if we were racing, what we were going to do. And this year we kind of put together a little bit of a program, got things going, got it going in the right direction. We got on gel on a bike, came out in Gainesville. It was a new Suzuki, went 200 miles an hour the first time out with a brand new engine package, kind of an unproven chassis, everything. I mean, everything was brand new on that program. Last minute, we were able to kind of strike a deal with Mission Foods and work something out that allowed us all to go racing, and had a great opportunity. But, with the help of Vance and Hines and everybody, I mean, what we've got going right now is a couple of really good motorcycles that They're fast. They're fast at times, but I will say it, we're a little inconsistent. Andrew and I with our V-twins right now, we're kind of struggling with the body work and just trying to figure out the new EVR body work on our bikes. Did change the riding position around, so we had to throw all our clutch notes out, all of our chassis setup stuff, everything, and we're kind of rebuilding a notebook. So we just tested today in Indy here. Spent the day at the track, made 4 or 5 laps, and got a little more of an understanding. We tried to do things that we usually wouldn't do because of race days. I don't want to be long-winded here, but I'm good for it. The big problem with us right now, really, to be honest, is 2 or 3 qualifying runs. It's just a little bit of a struggle. You don't have that chance to experiment like usually you do, and going into Norwalk, I think we have good bikes. Do we have great bikes? I wouldn't say a great bike yet. They're fast. We can make runs, but we're just searching for a little bit of consistency.
And you speak of searching for things and consistency. Right now, it looks like the whole class in a trendward forward is everyone's going 200 now. Like, it used to be, okay, when are we getting there? And now everyone's like, 200. Yeah, like, what is that trend like? What does that feel like to continue seeing people and continue to build the class of now, hey, we broke that 200 barrier and we're looking for more now?
Yeah, the difficult part was obviously breaking the 200 mile an hour barrier. Couple challenges along the road, I did it back in 2011, and then 2012 we saw some stuff happen, and then again I think it was like 2014 or 15 Hector Sr. did it in testing. Nobody really did it at a national event until Hector Jr. went and did it. NHRA changed the fuel. We went from running VP fuel to Sunoco fuel, and kind of went through a couple different combinations there, and every time we almost got there, we were set back. Now I think that a lot of the tuners, everybody had the winter, everybody had the opportunity to really get their programs back in line. You're seeing it a lot more often. I personally think it's really cool for the fans and spectators. One easy way to relate is one goes from a 1 to a 2. So when you're looking at that speed and it pops up on the scoreboard and it says 200, it's just something magical, I think.
Well, speaking of that barrier being broke, moving past that, opening that envelope, what is next for Pro Stock Motorcycle? Was that the last barrier? Is it 210? I mean, we have seen 203. What, or have the limits been reached and we're now looking more at incremental points of like 60-foot time, so on?
Yeah, I think we're probably 660s is about going to be the top of class. I don't really know if I really thought it was going to happen already. Somebody was going to go 69 or something like that, but that's really about the only barrier that I see. When you look at it, we were going 199 all the way back in the late 2000s, and 197, 198, pretty frequent, and occasionally you'd get that 199 run pop up in the early 2000s, and then it's like when you break it all down, the last straight barrier was 200 miles an hour. So I don't think you're going to see anything really spectacular from that point on. It's going to get better, I think, for racing. When you look at the packages right now, the Suzuki has gone 200. It's gone, Angel went 202 at the last race. Steve Johnson went 73. The V-Twins went 73, 72s, 202 and stuff like that. So I really think when you look at the program for Pro Stock Motorcycle, it's very competitive all the way across the board.
When you look at it and how everything was, earlier this season, was that a challenge? Was that kind of, okay, what do we do? Where do we go from here? What was that all like, leading up until you guys actually got on the track?
Well, as any racer is going to tell you, they're a horrible spectator. It's like the last last thing you want to do is go to a racetrack and like hang out. And I got that, that chance early on in the season. And, fortunately for us, it came together really pretty quick, I think, and we were able to get out there. It would have really sucked for the whole year to sit out and not have the opportunity to race. Honestly, I don't know if I would have liked it or had a good time doing it, but under our circumstances, we had to put a program together. Our ultimate goal was we were going to try to field a couple more inline 4-cylinder bikes and get them going, but we had some V-twin stuff sitting, and at that point, you need the opportunity to go out there. I mean, Vance and Hines right now, our goal ultimately is to be a horsepower factory. We want to supply V-twin, inline 4-cylinder, whatever type of engine platform it is. We kind of want to make it to where people know that they could use our products. Yes, there are other options out there. Yes, there are other things that you can do. But we are kind of like a full turnkey deal that we sell.
So coming back into competition, semifinal round appearance at Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. Semifinal round appearance at ZMAX. So not bad coming back into competition, claiming the title of the fastest. I noticed in a post that you made on one of your social media outlets, and you alluded to this already, that you were trying to find out what it likes, referring to the bike. So, a jet fighter, they've got a checklist. They're tugging on things, they're flipping switches, and they're looking over their equipment. So for you as a pro stock motorcycle rider, for us who would have no clue, take us into your world, your checklist, and figuring out what the new gal likes from you.
Well, I mean, there really is no methodical way of doing it. For us, it's about making sure preparation happens back at the shop. Byron Hines is always told us, races are won and lost at the shop. And what you mean by that is you can't be going to the racetrack trying to work on your stuff, trying to find power, trying to figure out what it wants. You have to go there and know. We knew that in our past with everything we've had years of development, years of research, years of notes. Now this year, changing a new body, the new body's changed the rider location. It's changed the airbox. It's changed a lot of little things that work together that complete the whole piece of the puzzle. For us, the checklists are mainly, obviously you got the motorcycle, you got to make sure your clutch is right. You got to make sure your wheelie bars is right. So we are what I'd like to say is kind of on that verge of being underpowered rather than overpowered. Like you guys were talking Pro Mod, Pro Mod where they're using a 14-inch slick and 3,500 horsepower. Here we are with roughly 400 horsepower, 10-inch slick. Yes, you can blow the tire away. Yes, you can overpower the track, but you have to manage that and you have to get it from A to B and you have to get it off the starting line. For us, the big inconsistencies are racing on racing surfaces, and the racetracks are forever changing. So you have to be up on your game. You kind of got to know which direction it's going. With Andrew and I, we're just trying to learn the chassis setup, where it all is. And, so the big checklist really for us is just trying to understand, the chassis and getting everything right.
And so with doing that, and, even you talk about getting everything right, well, obviously it came together in Vegas for you. What are those rides like? Can you tell the difference, half track, 60-foot half track, that, hey, this bike is working together, everything feels right? Or do, a good bit of the runs feel the same?
Yeah, so Charlotte, for example, when you're going to a track like that, you usually know what your setup is. We try to plan ahead, gearing, transmission ratios. In pro stock, it's all about your drops and your transmission ratios to keep the vehicle accelerating forward at the fastest rate that you can, with keeping the engine in the power band, using the torque on the shifts and accelerating through with your horsepower. Charlotte is a downhill track, so we geared for that. We did everything to kind of run big speed. We knew that opportunity existed. I knew I had a motorcycle that was going to go 202. I told Andrew after the first run, I really think we could probably go 203, 204 out here with the conditions. I mean, we had really good air. We had everything just all came together that race. And obviously you saw it reflect in the whole category. So, you know, but for us on a motorcycle, you really don't know how fast you're going down the track. The hairy part is stopping. It's, you know, you're dealing with that 2-inch front tire, and as soon as you chop the gas and you go for that brake and you're kind of slowing down, you have these mental checkpoints that you know how fast things are coming up. And when you're going by them so much faster, you know that was it wasn't 195, 196 mile an hour run. You know it's 200, 201, 202. So it's really the stopping that gives you the idea of how fast you're going.
With mentioning about wowing the horse down, and I go back to Las Vegas, and Ryan, he got into the sand, and they had a lot of work to do upon them. With going faster, and with these tracks, some of them not having the longest shutdowns that there, are in comparison to performance that there was, is there becoming an issue at particular tracks for even pro stock motorcycle, like some of the fuel classes and door slammer classes would say?
I would say our number one concern really for shutdown areas at some of these racetracks is its flatness. We all want that pool table drag strip. I mean, the pool table drag strip fixes everything, track prep, everything that you're trying to do, because you don't hit that bump, disturb the chassis. Like I said, our stuff does not have any suspension on it really for the back. It's got front shocks on the forks, but it has no rear suspension. You literally rely on your tire basically to absorb everything. But for us, the biggest thing is in the shutdown area. When you hit some of these tracks that are pretty bumpy, just throw one or two out there. I mean, Dallas is one track, and it's nothing that the track owners aren't doing, or it's the facility. It's the track gets so hot during the day sometimes that the asphalt, when they're making the turnoffs the track, on the 3 different locations, it's actually creating a berm. And, when you're cranking through there, I ran in Phoenix probably, I think we went there in 2017, 18, something like that. No, it was earlier than that, 15, 16. I literally thought the back of the bike was coming over on me on one run. I went through there and I was cranking, and it was a scary moment. I've had that happen a couple times. It's really because our rear tire is like a balloon, and the harder you hit the brakes, it squats the tire and it kind of preloads it. So we're very finesse on the brakes. That's probably our biggest thing.
I wish I would have been one with more finesse when I totaled my Kawasaki years ago with the brakes. I really wish I would have been. So it's another story for another day. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, we got a question coming in for you right now, and it says, would Eddie have any interest in riding a Top Fuel bike?
No. I tell Larry, so Larry McBride, and let's just talk Top Fuel Harley versus Top Fuel inline 4-cylinder Top Fuel. Top Fuel Harleys, in my opinion, I mean, the things are totally insane because you don't know what is going to happen with it. I mean, it could blow the spark plug out with the cylinder head flying off in the water box, or it could make a run and go 6.0. We've seen it happen. And then you have something like Larry McBride's bike that goes like 550s. Quick little story, Larry McBride, Spider-Man McBride, who's pretty much the fastest man on the planet on 2 wheels. He was having knee surgery. He called me up about 2-3 months ago before his knee surgery, and he told me, he said, hey, if you or Andrew want to come out and you want to ride my bike, or make a couple hits, just come on, let's put it all together. And I'm like, Larry, I said, the most I will do is I'll let you start it up, and then I'll shut it off, and I'll say there's a vibration, and then I'll get off.
That's a plan, Sam. Right there. There's a plan.
I mean, really,
No.
You should not have to wear a bulletproof vest to ride a motorcycle. That's it. That's my answer.
Lee, what's your answer to that?
Well, I need to call McBride or
Mike
Jay
Ash.
Turner or someone because Mike Ashley has offered to do it safely, but pay my way to take a ride on one. And look, way I look at it, there's two type of riders: those that have gone down and those that will go down. I already done the going down part, so might as well do it at a fast rate. So let's go ahead.
I've fallen off of a freaking bicycle. Okay, that hurts.
I thought you were going to say, two types of riders, one that has balls and one that don't, because I didn't ride without fuel bike. There ain't no way.
No, I feel, you fall off a bicycle, you know what it feels like. There's no way I want to, I don't even want to think about it. And the fact right there, I have to wear a bulletproof vest to strap it. No.
Hey, at least we know that you already have to wear that, and we're not learning that through the process. At least there's that.
The fact that you know that you have to do that going into it should be a very good sign, Lee, that no.
Look,
But, hey,
all I got to say, what is the stigma with the flat jacket, and you got guys getting in behind an engine wearing like 4 layers of fire retardant material?
I'll tell you truthfully, for me, I really think, and you guys were talking about, I really think the most exciting class, and no disrespect to any pro category or anything out there, but I really think the most exciting class is Pro Mod. I would love to kind of see NHRA experiment a little and start working towards a pro category with that. Pro stock motorcycle, pro stock kart, they're great to watch and they're fun to watch. There's killer racing. But I think when you break it down, the most exciting edge of the seat class is Pro Mod. When you give somebody 3,500 horsepower, 4,000 horsepower, now whatever the hell all these things are making with the Pro Chargers and everything, turbo stuff, and the tire is almost the equalizer in that category. Because you have so much power, you have to get it down through there. But the combinations obviously are part of it. But it is a great category and it's awesome to watch. So if I had my opportunity to drive something, probably a Pro Mod. I mean, I'm a big outlaw drag radial type guy, and I love that stuff. It's just really cool racing. There's places to race for everything, but I really do think in the big show, Pro Mod belongs up there.
Well,
Wes,
that being said,
Wes,
it's funny that you just mentioned that because there's a guy named Wes Buck who literally just texted me.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying he puts on a race at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to mention that to him when I text him back and say, hey, I know a guy that he likes Pro Mod. Can we get him into a car? So if you're not doing anything, around March next year, we may be able to work that out for you.
I've had 2 or 3 guys offer. I mean, once I built my drag radial car 5 or 6, when I was out 5 or 6 years ago, I had a good handful of Pro Mod guys. I was hard and heavy, obviously, in the pro stock motorcycle and still am. But, I'd love that opportunity to drive a little bit. I like the Pro Charger car. I like a turbo car. I'm not a huge fan of the blower. I mean, Stevie Jackson is, he likes the bug catcher stuff. And, I'm friends with a lot of those guys and have a really good relationships with them. And it's just so, it's an interesting category. The thing that I don't like about the category right now, and you hit on the head earlier, was I have a lot of opinions about everything. That's where I usually get myself in trouble. But it's turning into a 1-power adder class with a Pro Charger. I mean, it just starts getting boring. I mean, really, we got to figure out how to get, and everybody does. You got to figure out how to get turbos. You got to get blowers. You got to get everything in there because it makes it fun. Body styles. I mean, there's nothing more than personalities of cars. And what I mean by that is different engines, different body styles. Everything along those lines creates drama and a story. And if you can't have that, makes it hard. When everybody's racing the same car, it's not fun. Like NASCAR. I mean, let's just put them on the spot. It's like they're all the same body, same look and everything, same of all. It's just not fun to me.
Right. Well, Eddie, look, it's been great having you on. We've got Larry Dixon in studio. I've got one more question.
I do too. One
all
more
right,
question.
All right. And, you're talking about opinions, personalities, stories, drama. I've already come known to be the guy that just goes there. I got to ask, what's it like having Matt Smith in the pro stock motorcycle category? Take the floor.
Absolutely, he's great for the class. When you have a competitor that's always winning, it's kind of in pro stock motorcycle right now. It's kind of Andrew and Eddie versus Matt's Team MSR versus Team Vance and Hines. However you want to look at it, that's kind of the way it is. And you want to go out there and beat that team. You want to go out there and win. And I think anytime you have variety and you have clashing personalities, it makes for good racing. It makes for good drama. So I just think you need to have that opportunity or that stage to make that drama happen. So yes, I like racing against them. I think in a nutshell, he's one of the most, one of the people that I want to beat the most.
All right, final question for you, because I've asked this question a lot. When it comes to the bike class, it seems like the most, I guess, highly fashionable thing you guys have is your helmet.
Yeah.
I'm always intrigued by okay, what is the helmet design? What is this? What goes into you guys picking your style of helmet and the design? Is that something that as a bike rider you guys focus on a lot?
Well, yeah, that's where I am, clean lines. You can see this. It's, clean lines, sparkles, all sorts of stuff.
Looks like a bass boat.
I work with Gunslinger Custom Paint and a guy by the name of John Pugh who does a lot of the work. And Gunslinger does a lot of the painting. They're based out of, Golden, Colorado. And they do an awesome job on our stuff. We love it. Like you said, I think it's part of your personality. I like sleek, clean lines. Andrew would do all asymmetrical stuff or just random. When you look at the category as a whole, everybody usually has their helmet done. And I think it's really cool. It's a great part of it. It's the unique part that everybody gets to see. So just I think it allows you to be a little open, expressions and stuff like that. I try to change my helmet up once or twice a year, but those Stilo helmets are getting pretty expensive, at $2,000 a pop. Real big sparkles.
Looks good to me. Looks good to me. Hey, you got to have the skull bucket trending. It's got to be right. It's got to look right.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on. You've answered a lot of questions. Now we know that you want to get into a door car. We all think that Lee is absolutely crazy. Lee, I'm going to point that way. Lee is absolutely crazy for wanting to get on one of those bikes. So finally, someone's on and in my favor that guy is a little whacked out in the head.
I am.
So
yeah. I admit it.
Hey, it happens.
Eddie, look, thank you, man. We're going to let you go. We'll take a break. And again, thank you for being on. Folks, right after the break, Larry Dixon on Competition Plus Power Hour.
Thanks, guys.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Larry, how's it going? Uh-oh. Can you hear us, Larry?
And the gremlins bite again.
Oh, boy. Let me remove Larry and try to bring him back. Maybe that will work out. Let me bring him back into the stream. Do we have any movement? No, we don't. So, folks, at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to nicely. Oh, yep, he dropped out of the studio, so we'll have to bring him back in, or he'll have to come back in, and we'll see how that works out. Larry Dixon, hopefully in a few moments. Sorry for the.
And that's the part of the live shows, right? That's the part of the live shows. Lee. It happens, technical difficulties. It's just like being at the racetrack. We're on the starting line and we can't get the car fired up. What do we do? What do you do at that
roll
point?
it into the beams without anybody noticing. You're nudging it slightly, Funny story. My dad one time, they were in Miami drag strip, the old drag strip back in the day, match racing. And to get the final round money, they had to, bring it up into the final round match. Well, they had blown the engine earlier. It wasn't going to do anything, but they bring it up. He's squirting gas in the hat, trying to act like they're cranking that thing up. It was not going to crank whatsoever. They still got the money. So, hey, match racing, old days, had to do what you had to do. Larry.
All he had to do was put it in the beams.
Right, put it in the beams.
All right.
Can you hear us now, Larry?
He was literally just moving.
He was.
He's playing. Well, I think he's playing a joke on us right now. Just wait a second. No, I don't think it's a joke.
Man. So Larry,
try one more time.
Try again for us. Don't know what's going on there.
Safari, Alan Reinhardt just said it over the radio. I just heard him. He chimed in and said we got a little bit of oil down. We can hear them on the top end. Right now, they're checking over the track.
You guys hear me okay?
Hey, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Let's see. Maybe if you want to try this, Larry, just take your Larry, if you're watching and you can't hear us, come on just with audio. Turn your camera off and let's just go with audio if you can work that out. We'll, as we're waiting for Larry to try this once again, live technical difficulties. Sam.
Lee.
What do you think about people all of a sudden with this? I've seen this on American Hot Rod Entertainment. I've seen it on Door Slammers Plus on YouTube. I've seen it elsewhere. They are already saying, well, let's try Larry again. We'll have to get back to that later on. We've got.
So you're gonna leave me with the cliffhanger, and now I have to.
I'm gonna leave you with a cliffhanger. Yes.
What a guy!
We may get back to it.
What a guy!
Let's see. Do we have Larry yet? Oh,
there's
moving. A little bit more movement. Can you hear us, Larry?
Hey, if we want, we can also do audio via he calls in, maybe.
So, Larry, we can get a little bit of audio from you, but not much, and we barely can see you move. Let's see what we can work out. I got some folks texting. Maybe we can. Bobby, can you help us out? Maybe. Yeah, Stan, it happens.
Lee?
Yeah.
I don't think he's there. Well, he just moved.
He did. Yes. Right. Yep. Larry, can you hear us at all? We cannot hear you if you are saying anything. Oh, man.
I would say drop him out one more time. Let him come back in. We can try phone to phone and see if we can get him. If I have
email your phone number to him there, Sam. I'll take the floor real quick. So this is what I was saying, folks. I've noticed already, and I don't want to take anything away from, and I'm dare going to say it, John Force. But you have many people already stating that he's dominating the season. Wait. John Force and John Force Racing is back. The storyline is, are they going to continue the performance that they have shown already? But there's not a domination yet. Remember, Bob Tasca leads the points. There's been 2 wins. Robert Height, he's got into victory lane. Bob Tasca has won. J.R. Todd has won. So some of you out there, just pump the brakes a little bit. We're going to see a lot more of John Force, but the fact of the matter is there's not a domination out there yet. It may very well come, but not quite there yet. Lou, almost time for 2 tin cans and a string. Yeah, it might work. It might work. I think Larry is up in the Indianapolis area. I think that's where he's at. I don't know. Let's see if we try this again. Can you hear us now, Larry?
Lee, if not,
loud and clear.
I have it.
Oh, we heard him. All right, so Larry, we just heard you. We can't really see you moving, but that's okay. A little bit of a delay. Well, other than technical difficulties, what's going on?
I don't think we have him, Lee. If we have another commercial or a smart sanitizer commercial, let's break to a commercial quick, bring him on. Larry, if you can hear this, I sent an email, call. We'll get you hooked up to the system, and we'll just do it via phone.
All right, let's. I've got another commercial. It's not a Competition Plus one, but we'll go there. Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase. All right, Sam, you're there. Let's see.
I am
what about
here.
Larry? What's going on? Yeah, we still. So Larry, we should be able to hear you. Let's try it again.
Hello?
Hey, Larry.
Whoa.
Nope.
No, and he just dropped out. So if he calls, I can bring him on. But to talk
Larry,
about what you talked about.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To talk about what you talked about, Lee. And maybe, hey, this might be a thing that we may do. Maybe I can give out, a call in, and we can have like 1 fan or 2 fans call in and ask a question live on the Power Hour. Who knows? Maybe. I'm just throwing that out there. But to say that he is taking the season, John Force, and I get it. John Force is a GOAT, period. Period. But when people, and I'm going to bring our friend Darren, Hot Rod ENT, into this equation, bringing people, saying Kobe Bryant, he's a GOAT in basketball. But to mention LeBron James in that category also, just don't do it. Save us all the time and the headache of doing that. But then to say that as of right now, that John Force has taken the season and the season's his, you can't make that statement. You just can't. Now, if you're going to say, hey, the Torrances, Steve Torrance is, taking the season right now, I would agree with you. Who is going to stop the Torrance family right now at this point? So I agree with that statement, but to say that this is John Force and he's back and I agree with that. But taking it a step further, I don't believe you can do that yet. I get it. You're excited about it. You know, you're a big fan. We all are fans. We want to see Force on top. But, I mean, he's back. I just don't think you can say it's his season. Now, like I said, different class. You want to say Steve Torrance? I will put the respect behind you and put my money behind that one. That's how I feel, Lee.
Gotcha. Let's bring Larry on once again. Let's try. Larry, we got you on, and we've been able to hear like just a few words. Can you hear us again? Larry, check your email. Check the email thread for the show. Sam has sent you his cell phone number. Just give him a call, and we'll do it via audio alone. Try that for us.
I can hear you loud and clear.
We just got you in. There we go.
This is brutal.
Well, okay, we just heard you again there. So we've just got maybe a 5-7 second delay, maybe. So we'll try with that. Other than technical difficulties, how's it going tonight? And dropped out once again.
Hey. Yes. Lee, can you hear Larry?
No, this is Ed Krawiec. This is.
Oh, sorry. You're good. We're trying to get Larry on. All right. Well, we had Ed call in.
We had Ed call in. Wait, hey, our first call in, Eddie Krawiec, and he was also first-time guest on the show. Awesome.
So if anyone, I guess, yes, if anyone has my number and you would like to call in with a question, you're more than welcome to. We now know that we can get you on the show.
Call Sam right now because we've got no other
Hold
guest.
on.
We'll figure it out.
I'm getting a phone call. Hello. Lee, can you hear? Okay. Lee. 1 second here. Lee, can you hear?
I can hear you.
Larry. Lee, can you hear Larry?
I cannot.
All right.
Do you have
Larry,
Larry
I'm
on the
going to
line?
call you right back. Okay. So I can hear him on here, but you guys can't hear him.
Right. But we heard Eddie, interestingly enough.
You did?
Yes, we could hear Eddie. Right, Tom. Due to technical difficulties, Power Hour will carry on.
Hello. Hey, Larry, it's Sam.
How we doing?
Doing good.
Is this any better?
It is.
Yes,
Lee,
we can hear. We can hear.
Perfect. We've got you on. We can hear now, and we'll just do it via audio. It all works.
It's the competition plus power hour and a half.
Power hour and a half. That's exactly right.
That's right. Well, Larry, we've been going 2 hours anyway here lately, so yeah, we're used to it. It's okay, man. No worries.
I can barely hear you, Lee.
All right. So he can barely hear you, Lee. First question, Lee, take it away.
Yeah, man, look, buddy of mine, a guy that is a fan of Monday Morning Racer, Joe Hollis, he was in your car in Memphis for the ride along, and he got some extra runs out of it. So talk to me about the program and your desire to make sure that people get their money's worth and they get the full Top Fuel experience.
Yeah, good and bad. The thing that I can tell you, and I tell everybody, is that is a real Top Fuel car. I mean, it's definitely not a dumbed down Disneyland ride, and we didn't have the track conditions that we needed or wanted or were used to. So I mean, the car went out there and it pulled the tire off, and I wasn't happy with the run. And so I asked him if he wanted to make another lap, and he was all in. So we serviced the car, got it ready to go, and gave him another blast. So and to be honest with you, that was that's the first time that we've had to do that in a couple of years. So it's but again, I'm about definitely giving the people a real Top Fuel ride and something credible. So he got a 3-second ride in the 8th mile and over the moon. Tells me he's going again. So we'll see. But Joe was definitely a sport about it for sure.
No, and that's awesome. You know, what does that mean to you, getting that chance to give people that experience?
It's the only reason I'm doing it. The trouble that I've had, from the legal side of things, and it's been a lot. But being able to, when I came up with the idea to do this and shared it with the president of NHRA, and they were really excited about it. And I'm following through with it, and it's something. And everybody that's been in the car has got a different reason for doing it. And for me, it's almost sharing an experience with them, and what they're doing. And it's like, somebody going backstage at a Rolling Stone show. I mean, and getting an opportunity that you couldn't get anywhere else on earth. In a Top Fuel car like that. So I definitely, I'm excited about being able to share that with people. And again, it's just, it's been a lot to do, but for sure, the number one reason I'm doing it is to be able to offer that to people.
So, Larry, when is the next outing for the 2-seater, and are there any more spots available for the next outing?
Well, the next time that we're going to run the car is up in Martin, Michigan, and actually got 4 rides sold, and that weekend is sold out. We're not doing any more rides. We've got a couple slots available at the end of August for Cordova at the World Series of Drag Racing, and then beyond that, there's another date that we have set up for Martin at the Funny Car Nationals when they run that event in September, and then October we've got a couple dates, October and November down at West Palm Beach International Raceway. Couple openings at each of those events, and that's it. That's all we're going to do for the rest of the year, and then we'll just we'll start gearing up for next season.
And so, when you have these spots available and open to you, do they book pretty fast? Do they fill up pretty fast for you, or is it something that, it may take a while?
It's really hit or miss. I mean, I had three rides booked, and I was locked in solid for Memphis at the end of last season. That was our last event of the year, and we were done. And then all of a sudden, I had somebody call up literally at the last minute, said, "Hey, I want to go," and I didn't even know if I could pull it off, and I needed to talk to my team to see if we could do it, because doing 4 runs in a day, we're not an NHRA, crew, and staffed in that fashion to be able to do these, 35, 45-minute rounds. I mean, it's a real service. I mean, we put a rack of distance in the thing. We put a clutch in the car. I mean, we do everything that the big show guys do with our car. It's just at I'm going to say a 2005-ish service. We're kind of more, hour and a half service between rounds. So it stacks up the time, and so it makes it a little bit tougher to do it. But we're doing it, and it's their game, and we've got cooperation from the racetrack, and obviously our crew. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do it. And this isn't my full time. It's not even a job, because a job would pay you. So it's not. So I try and do as many, each year. It seems like, we double the amount of rides, as time has gone on. It's grown from that standpoint, but nowhere at a level that's my occupation. I got a lot of other things going on from that standpoint. I'm a driving instructor for Doug Herbert's brakes program, and that's probably 10, 12 weekends a year. I also am a safety ambassador for Stand 21, the safety equipment company, and so I'll do 6, 8 events for them. So right there, that's almost half of the year is booked up on those deals. And so I'm just trying to do as much as I can.
Larry, take the time and do some bragging on the crew that you've got with that operation. Who's tuning it, who's making it so consistent, and where you can go out there and give people the ride of their lives. So who's all involved?
Well, that's and that varies, and it's really dependent on the weekend. I don't have any full-time staffing at all. When you get back to the shop, it's just me. So between the events, I'll get a little bit of help, but mostly when we go and run these events, it really depends on the weekend. When we ran at earlier this year, it was on top of an NHRA event, so that made it. When we went to South Carolina, we were on top of Charlotte. So I've got guys that I have worked with in the past, and so like where they're not on the road anymore, they'll come in and help. The past few events I've had Rob Wenland, because he's not, with the Terry McMillan team, kind of trying to put things together to get back out there. So that's been great. But when we went out there last year on top of an NHRA event, I had Jack Wyatt as crew chief. I've had Terry Snyder as crew chief. I've had Tony Shortall as crew chief, and our combination that we have. I got some help from Todd Okahara over at Don Schumacher Racing, and just put a package together. So it's like we can roll into an event, and you can correct for the air, make a head gasket call based on that. I mean, the nozzle combination, fuel system, and timing, all that stuff's all done. So you basically make a head gasket call and an overdrive call, and we run the car. But so I've had quite a few different crew chiefs help out, and just to maintain that, and quite a few different crew guys, guys that I've worked with on the Alan Johnson team, with the Don Perdome team, with the Rapisarda team, and then even quite a few times, Terry McMillan's, his former team, which, half of them are over on, half of them are at Clay Milliken. I think the other half is at John Force's. So I've gotten a lot of help from a lot of people here in Brownsburg. So and I'm very appreciative of guys going out there and on their weekend off. Everybody gets paid. It's not volunteer help. So because it's like but when we run the car, it's very serious from that standpoint, because we're taking somebody else down the racetrack. And I want to make sure that we've done the best job that we possibly can, and we have the car prepped from a safety standpoint and performance as well. Every single time the car's got to go down the track, because we've got somebody different every time. We're making runs over and over again, but for that one person, it's going to be their one ride.
Well, and just thinking about what you're saying, could this be a chance maybe to bring in some of those kids that are going to school for this? Give them an opportunity to, maybe get their feet wet, and not just get their feet wet, but experience working on the car. And could this be another learning opportunity for some kids that are looking to get into this industry, maybe helping out with the car, or like I said, getting their feet wet with saying, I'm looking at going NHRA racing or being on a team, helping you guys out and learning some of those things, while they're still in school.
I love the idea and the process. Want to get involved in nitro racing, I would love to be able to have a hand into it. But I tell people all the time with the car that we run, when we pull up to the starting line, I treat that like it's final round of Indy. And you might giggle or take, but somebody has spent an awful lot of money to make a run, and so everybody that works on the car, I'm serious about it. Everybody that's been on the pit crew has either won races or championships, and it's very important for me that the car's prepped like it's a final round for Indy, because it's that important. Not only from a performance standpoint, we can't have any mistakes. And it's definitely, and normally we don't have time to be schooling either, because it's, there's a between round service that takes place. It makes it a little bit tough to do it with a 2-seater. Now, when we go and run I have a regular Top Fuel car that we go and run match races with at Martin, and in August we'll run Martin the Northern Nationals, and then at the end of the month, the World Series of Drag Racing at Cordova. We do those, and it's, maybe there's a little bit more opportunity, but still, it makes it tough. Every run that we make is so important that the car goes down the racetrack every single time. It's not, we don't have any mulligans or any freebies, so it makes it tough. And when somebody is spending a lot of money to go for a ride, I want to make sure that I've done everything to make sure that they're getting that absolute the best ride that we can offer.
Well, Larry, look, thank you for your determination and your passion in providing what you are for people to gain that experience. Thank you for doing that. And, you mentioned a lot of great names of the modern day when it comes to crew chiefs that have helped you out. You had Dick LaHaye a part of your career for a long time. Great driver, great tuner. What was it like working with him for all those years and being successful with him?
I just feel so blessed that to have had him as a crew chief. It was I learned so much. I think from, and I've been around some great people, the Don Perdomes and the Alan Johnsons and Dale Armstrong. Yeah, I mean, gosh, Dale Armstrong. Crew chief, winning championships, driver winning championships. But LaHaye, just his ability to get a car down the racetrack. And I think that has really helped my mindset, I guess. You're going through school without knowing that you're going to school, and just getting a car down the racetrack. Gosh, he was so good at being able to do that, and to be around that and watch him and be a part of that. He won races himself, as a driver in Top Fuel, and then going over to the Colettas, and then won races with Doug Herbert, and then for crew chief. I just he'd never won Indy before, and he was really bitter about the race, that the race isn't that big a deal and it doesn't mean that much, and it's like we'd already won, and I'm like, you just haven't won yet, and you'll change. And then to be able to have been in 2 winner circle with LaHaye at Indy was great, and his last win as a crew chief was at Indy, and I just I'm so proud to I'm so proud of that, just being a part of him and a part of his career, and and he took such good care of me. I mean, just like I was one of his sons, and I just thought the world of him, and just you just hate losing people, and for me, even today with Kyle Seipel, that was hard. I mean, he had the same type of cancer as I did, and I get treated, and I'm okay, and he gets treated and he's not. So that's really a mind game on a person, and I just really the people that you have around you, enjoy them while you have that opportunity, because you never know when it's going to get taken away from you.
Yeah, you hit home really close to me when we talk about this cancer in our sport and taking care of our bodies and everything. As I myself have experienced a very big scare from it, but looking at like you said, the things that you've overcome and dealt with in the sport, how do you look back and say, some of these moments have really helped me through this, and some of these moments you really miss and wish you could have done over?
I don't know that I have very many moments that I wish I could have done over, because even whether it's a bad run or a bad season or a bad day or just a bad anything, it's obviously it's a learning experience at the same time. I mean, there's talking about seasons, one of the better seasons that I had was in 2001, and I don't know that anybody has ever won as many rounds as we did and not won a championship. And we lost it to Bernstein, and it went right down to the last the semifinals of that race that season. And but that season and going through that and losing that, man, did it make a difference on the driver and the mentality moving forward, being able to win the next couple championships, and then getting into a battle again, driving Alan Johnson's car with and then those battles with Schumacher, and they were good things. So things that have happened, I mean, that's everybody has peaks and valleys, and some of the things that I've gone through, there's people that have gone through better, and there's people that have gone through worse. I feel really lucky that I've spent literally my entire life out at the drag races, and used to go out there with my parents, and and then later on getting to go out there on my own, and then I met my wife at the racetrack. Her family raced comp eliminator and then pro stock truck, and then then you have kids, and then you're raising your kids, and you got them out at the track. I mean, my whole life has been in racing. I just feel really, really lucky. So, to do over, not a chance, because you change one thing, and that's a domino effect. I'm really happy with what I've had out at the racetrack.
We do have an individual that has commented. We're going to bring up, at least one fan comment, even all the technical difficulties going on. Please tell Larry Dumpster Dan is tuned in and says hello. Father's Day wasn't the same without watching Larry Dixon continue to win on the weekend. Had a great run. So Dumpster Dan, any good stories there, man?
Well, just on if I caught it right, just the Father's Day. We it seemed like we raced forever. It was such a tradition to race at Columbus on Father's Day. The NHRA Spring Nationals, and we'd go to that race, and it was hot and it was humid, and half the time the tracks, the pit area's underwater, and I didn't like going there because we never did well. And then hooking up with Dick LaHaye. And that was about the same time I became a parent. And we go there for the first time, me as a dad, and we won on Father's Day. And it was like, wow, how awesome is that? And then, I think it was the next 2 or 3 years, Father's Day we won. And then then the race got bumped and they moved it off the schedule. They put Englishtown there, and I hadn't won Englishtown in a long time. And then all of a sudden, like we went, 2, 3, I think it was 5 Father's Days in a row. And that was the first 5 Father's Days for me as a parent. And we won them, and we won on all those days. And it was just like, gosh, it was such, almost felt guilty, but not really. but gosh, it was just, and then the race gets moved again, and then it's, Bristol, and then we end up in the winter circle in Bristol. And just, we just had such a great run on Father's Day. And it's great that, you'll post stuff on social media around Father's Day, and people, they'll talk about, Englishtown or Columbus or Bristol or something like that. And it's just, great days. This Father's Day, we didn't race, but it's okay. It still was a great Father's Day.
Lee, do you have anything else?
Well, I know everyone's got this question, and we've had it in the comment section already. So, Larry, I'm going to put it out there. Any actual NHRA top fuel competition in the future for you on the horizon at all?
You'd like to say never, but man, I haven't. I haven't raced on the tour since 2015, and haven't entered a car in top fuel since 2017, and it's just it's so expensive, and it just, gosh, and I know NHRA, they're obviously trying to come up with put a package in place and events in place to try and relieve some of the teams so it's not as costly, and if it's not as costly, maybe some of those companies that used to be involved in the sport can find that value and get back in. It's just so expensive. I mean, and if I'm in a car or entering a car, I mean, it has to make sense. It's not like the old days where you could get a bunch of buddies together and just throw a top fuel car together and enter it and go run. It's, our sport is a long ways away from that. So, I don't want to say never say never, but it doesn't. I'm not going to the mailbox looking for checks to be able to have one show up and then you can go ahead and run. It's, I'm running the 2-seater. I got my street car that I'll go and do some of the Midwest drags and these other events and drag week and things like that. I'm doing a lot of things that I didn't do while I was out there racing all the time, and it's just I don't know, man. I know I'm dancing that question, but it's I guess if the money showed up, you could definitely look into it. But I'm not not ate up anymore. I'm entering the Hall of Fame. It seems like if you enter the Hall of Fame, that probably means that your career's on the downhill. So I'm going to be inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America later this year. So maybe that's the memo that we're moving on from racing top fuel cars.
You can't say that. You can't say that yet. That's all.
No, I know. Especially when you got a guy like John Force. I mean, he's 20 years older than me, and he's still out there racing and getting it done. So, do I think I could get it done? You get put in the right situation with the right people and good equipment, good budget, and good crew chief, and the whole package. Yeah, I mean, I still have fun when I go and do the match races and stuff and run the single seater. I mean, I do have a blast running the car, driving a car down the racetrack. I mean, it's fun. Been around it for a long time, but I don't know, man. If it's meant to be, it'll be, and if it's not, it's still okay.
Right. Well, man, look, it's very cool to hear you talking about the diversification, if you will, of the drag racing portfolio being away from, nitro competition in NHRA. So definitely get out there, the Midwest drags and the drag weeks and things of that nature. That's a cool deal, man.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, that sometimes, I talk to people and then they get really down on the sport of drag racing, and I'm seeing so much activity that I dig it, and I'm talking about just straight up, even like nitro cars, having a funny car chaos event at the Motorplex, and they got 75 cars there, and you see different match races going on, and then you see Palmer talking to the Midwest Pro Mod guys about maybe adding a fuel show to it. And I mean, there's other events going on, and obviously, there's some of the purists in drag racing people that they get down on the street outlaws, but they put on those no prep king events, and they get such a huge crowd, and there's a lot of cars that come out for it, and I think the sport of drag racing is really healthy. And I mean, you were talking about PDRA earlier, and their car counts are getting up, and I love that. When I go to the PRI show, and that's more strictly racing, hardcore racing, as opposed to the SEMA show. I mean, it seems like drag racing, it's alive and well. I mean, it's in more areas, and there's more events going on than ever. So like, I dig it. I think it's things are good, and I hope to be around it for another 20 years.
Well, with an ambassador of the sport like you are, and the things that you've got going on and helped out with, like you said, who knows, maybe getting in, to a different style of car, maybe we can get you down to Florida, as we seem to try and get everyone down there at the beginning of the season. A little exhibition races, stuff like that. I think why not go out there? Like you said, looking at the comments, all the fans are saying, and all the people that are watching are saying that they miss seeing you in a car. So maybe that might be their chance, at the beginning of the season to get their LD fix. So, I mean, don't rule it out yet, but hey, anything is possible, like you said.
No, I think it's great. Again, all these different events, and you never know. I mean, I didn't start out in a top fuel car. I started out in a street car, and so who knows? In a few weeks, they got the $1 million race that's going on up in Martin. They're giving away $1 million in a bracket race, and I like, gosh, and there's no fans in the stands, and like they can make that kind of stuff work, and I think it's great. So no, man, I'm excited. I have no idea where I'll end up, but I'm gonna have a hell of a story getting there. I promise you that.
Well, Larry, look, thank you for being back on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Me and Sam are really glad to have return guests, because we know that we are the train wreck that we are, and we had you back on. So we appreciate it. And And man, thank you for working through the technical difficulties. We're going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening.
No, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Anytime I can be on your show, I really enjoy it. I think it's great what you guys are doing. The more people that can spread the word of drag racing, it's great. And I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I think it's great what you do, and I enjoy watching your show as well. So thanks for having me on. I think one of these days, I think I'm going to try and get a Wi-Fi sponsor or something, and then maybe we can actually, you guys can see me at the same time as talk to me. So we'll work on that for the next go.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for coming on, Larry, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Take care.
All right. Well, there you go, Lee. We figured out now that we can make it work.
Sam, let me stop you right now. Everybody in the chat, put in Sam, because let's give him a round of applause. We got it worked out on the fly, never done before. Get Larry Dixon on the phone. He had to hold it at a certain spot.
Yeah,
I had Larry on.
Hey, man, see, Lee, I told you buying this machine would come in handy sometime. And boom, right there, Competition Plus Power Hour. We made it work, man. I had to go and grab an aux cord, but, that's why we keep a million of these things as media people. You got a million of them. So, hey, it is what it is. But you guys don't have to say, Sam, don't listen to him. Okay? But, yeah, man, we made it work. Hey, I got in a little bit of trouble. I don't know if you saw. Darren hopped in the comments there and was like, first of all, Sam, this is exactly what. Let's see if I can find it.
Look, Darren.
I got to scroll up.
He is a good studier of other shows. He watches. He knows what's going on in the world. Matter of fact, folks, Thursday night, American Hot Rod Entertainment, Darren Williams Jr. He's doing a great job. He's going to host my show, Between the Slicks, with Paul Weiss and Corey Lee of the New Englander and NHRA Funny Car. I'm going to be on the road, so I'm going to make a brief appearance on the show and keep on traveling, but he's going to be hosting.
So I get to host your show one time, and then I get the boot. I see how it is. That's all right.
That is absolutely correct.
But yeah, you guys see. So the only reason why I gave Darren crap, and like I said, Darren's a good friend of ours, but first things first, the only reason why I gave him crap is because he mentioned this name right here that said LeBron James, and he mentioned him as the greatest of all times, and I just don't think. I'm going to say it. Just like Lee got mad at Wes Buck for saying that Erica was the best racer, LeBron James, to me, in basketball is trash. Not a guy that you want on the forefront of your organization, and I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all we have time for me to say today.
Sure, because we're a drag racing show and not a basketball show. But brief statements. So, Sam, I do also want to give a shout-out to who you mentioned that I was mad at. I wasn't mad at him. I just disagreed very passionately. Wes Buck. Appreciate Wes. The man is living the American dream. He is a success story in motorsports, and he is very kind to me and you. And like even earlier today, we were watching the Cocktails with the Carusos that they're airing on Drag Illustrated now. It was him and Nate Van Wagen. Nate, I'm just going to leave it there. I'll get the last name section. I'll get it right later. Sorry, Nate. But he gave a shout out to the show and come watch it. And he does that regularly when we comment. So, Wes, thanks for being a cool dude. Appreciate it, man.
And who knows, Lee? I made an appearance last week on that show. So who knows what's in store? Maybe I make another appearance and ask a couple of questions. Who knows? Wes is a really good friend. Like you said, shout out to Drag Illustrated, Nate, Josh Hatchett, Murder T, Wes. You've got
don't forget Courtney,
Mr. Carpenter, Mike Carpenter. So you've got a slew of people over there, as Wes Buck would say, works behind the scenes and everything that do it. Dan, to answer your question, yes, Larry did have cancer.
Yes, he mentioned
So
that.
to answer that question, yes.
Yeah, I was having goosebumps as you were mentioning all those names.
Yeah, with the slew, you know, and all of the other West Buck world. And, you know, shout out, since we're doing it, tomorrow, I think it's around 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 Central Time in that area. Log on to Drag Illustrated. Wes will be moving the needle forward as another West Buck thing to say of talking the gospel of drag racing and what we need to continue to do to move the needle forward and speak of how great our sport is and beat our own drum.
Yes.
So,
hey,
Lee, your show.
Speaking of needles, mine's like on E right now.
I feel you.
Yeah, because
I need to put more.
Of like, are we going to have Larry or not going to have Larry? And then coming back, yes, it can take it out of you.
There's no more nitro left in this monster, so it's getting a little flat, if you know what I'm saying. But Lee, you got a show coming on Thursday.
Yes.
My show airs or comes on all the major podcast forums every Wednesday morning. I've got a guest. No, actually, every Thursday morning. I record Wednesday night. So I'm going to have a hometown hero guest, a guy who got into a wreck. Didn't have him last week. He wasn't feeling good after his wreck and surgery and everything. So we're going to talk. And he had someone new actually racing his car, one of his friends. So that was cool to see, helping him out. I'm going to do a little bit more circle track stuff here on my platform. That is Outlaw Performance ENT. Or if you want to catch up with what Slammin Sam does on the regular, if I'm at the track grinding tires, working on a race car, I do kind of a little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing. So if you ever want to keep track of just kind of what Slammin Sam is doing,
a statement that I have heard from you in a long time.
Exactly. Hey, I keep it real because everybody's got to be somebody. But Lee, it's been an honor and a pleasure, man.
Yes, sir.
These folks need to send us emails at powerhourcp@gmail.com. Again, that is Power Hour and then CP for Competition Plus at gmail.com. Send us over your questions. Again, don't forget, if you got a question, and if I know we're giving away one t-shirt, we'll be giving away more. Hopefully with whatever guests we have on, you guys can listen to all these podcasts on all the major podcast forums, and that is under the Power Hour. I'm Slammin Sam, Outlaw Performance ENT. The crazy Amish-looking dude that's over there is the Monday Morning Racer, a.k.a. Lee. And it's been another episode of the Power Hour. We're both on E. Alan Reinhardt has already turned off the radios and told everyone to go home. So one more cheers, one more sip. And until next week, we will see you guys later.